It's a field of pure potential, meaning that you can pluck out of that field any 2026 that you want to create. You can pluck out of that field any financial reality, any health reality, any relationship reality that you want to create in this coming year. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Alignment with Jenn podcast. I am your host, Jenn, and today we're going to be talking about the complete guide to manifesting your goals for 2026. So I'm really excited to do this episode because I feel like at the beginning of the year, everybody's moving in the same direction, right? Everybody's signing up for the gym. Everybody's getting all excited to write down their goals, write down their intentions, and create a new life for themselves. And I find that so exciting. And I think about it as like a slipstream, right? If you are on a bike and there's a bike, you can kind of get into that slipstream behind the bike in front of you and ride that less resistance because everybody's going in that same direction. So it's such a powerful time for us to decide what we want to create and what we want to manifest for the coming year. And so I want to give you essentially like a little toolkit to be able to do that. So that way you can go forth into this new year and feel super aligned, super good about what you are creating. So the first thing that I want to talk about, I've mentioned this in some other previous episodes, but I want to recap it because it's really important to understand this before I go into the tools that I'm going to be sharing with you. I'm going to talk about how to use a vision board, some types of meditation you can do, some types of things you can focus on to really call in what you want this year. Before I do that, I really need to kind of set the stage with talking about the quantum model of reality. What quantum physics has shown us is that everything is energy. Every single thing, this microphone, this candle over here, every person in your life, your dog, are made of 99.99999% empty space and energy. So that means you are more empty space than anything else, which the first time I learned that, I was like, it blew my mind. But I'm not saying that. Physicists are saying that, and they are very, very, very smart. I don't know about you, but I didn't do very well in physics when I was in school. So they're very smart. And that's what they're saying. So I believe it. And I've also experienced it. And when we start to create from that place, of remembering that we are so much more energy than matter, then we can create much more quickly. Because there's kind of really two ways to create. You can create in the 3D through moving matter with matter, through pushing, through creating with time, and it takes a lot longer. Or you can tap into the energetic realm, which is the unseen force that most people don't tap into because they can't see it with their own two eyes. I don't know about you, I believe cell phones work and electricity works, even though I don't see the cell phone signals and electricity. The same is true for the quantum field. And what you have to do is teach yourself to believe it by doing little experiments with yourself. And so when you think about this new year, I want you to really focus on creating your new year more from energy and less from matter. And you're going to manifest your goals 1,000 times faster when you focus on the energetics above everything else. I promise you. The reason why so many people don't stick with their New Year's resolutions, don't manifest the things that they want, and they basically live the same year over and over and over again. I would estimate 95% of people live the same year over and over and over again, maybe with some subtle changes, is because what they're doing is they're taking their old self and they're saying, okay, I'm going to set some New Year's resolutions and then I'm going to try to achieve those. But it's the old self with the old habits, the old patterns, the old emotions who's trying to achieve those goals. And it doesn't work like that. You have to become that new version of yourself in order to not hit the same obstacles, in order to operate at a different frequency than the old self operated as. So let's use going to the gym as an example. Oftentimes people will say, okay, my New Year's resolution is to get in the best shape of my life. I think that's a really common one. And they're like, okay, so I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to start eating healthier. It's going to be awesome, right? And then they're like, I'm going to fuel this with pure willpower. That doesn't really work. We all know that doesn't work. I think most people do not achieve their resolutions because they're trying to fuel it with pure willpower when there's an easier way. When we can create alignment on all levels of our being, from our subconscious mind, from our energy, to the actions that we are taking, to our energy and our emotions, it's going to be so much easier for us to create those changes. And so when we think about the quantum model of reality, I mentioned Everything is energy. 99.999% of everything is energy. There's empty space and energy. And we live in this field of pure possibilities. I heard a physicist describe it as a quantum soup, a soup of energy that's connecting everything, which I was like, whoa, that's such a cool way to think about it, as like, there's no empty space. There's energy and there's frequency all around us all the time. That's why when you come into contact with someone, even before you look at them, even before you start talking to them, you can feel their energetic state, because we are tuning into this. And the more you place your attention on it, the more you're going to be able to tune into it, the more real it's going to become to you. The things that I have experienced energetically, I can't explain them, but because I started putting my awareness on it, it becomes more noticeable for me. We want to become that new version of ourselves. And when we focus on that field, what physicists have said is that that field includes all the possibilities that ever existed. It's a field of pure potential, meaning that you can pluck out of that field any 2026 that you want to create. You can pluck out of that field any financial reality, any health reality, any relationship reality that you want to create in this coming year. What you have to do is you have to get yourself to be a coherent signal for that new reality. You have to stop being this old version of you and carrying those old emotions, those old patterns, those old habits forward. Because when you do that, you get to a point where you're like, I'm frustrated because I'm not creating any changes. It's because you're trying to change who and create a new future from an old self. When we think about this, we recognize that we can select from the field what it is that we want to create, what it is that we want to manifest. And we do that by creating coherence between our thoughts and our emotions. Most of the time, what people do is they will have a thought of, let's say for 2026, I want to be in the best shape of my life. We'll just keep using that. But on an energetic level, what they're thinking and feeling is, well, I've never done it before. Why would this year be any different? I don't like working out. It's hard. It's difficult. That's an incoherent signal. There's a mismatch, right? When there's a mismatch, it's not going to happen for you. So we want to create that match. So there's a few different tools and things that we can use to create this match. One of them that is the most important in my experience is meditation. And there's different styles of meditation that you can do. I've created something called the Miracles meditation, where I kind of guide you to connect with that quantum field. The reason meditation is so valuable and so important, I think if I had to give up every single manifestation tool I've ever used, and I got to keep one, it would hands down be meditation. It's the most powerful thing. The reason for that is because when you are meditating, you close your eyes and you can begin to connect to that field, that frequency that exists. And from that frequency, you receive information. You're not just connecting to the fielding, you're also receiving information from the field. And when you receive that information, it's easier for you to connect to that frequency of having success at the gym, right? Creating that ideal body, creating that ideal income, whatever it might be. One of the tools, and what I want to recommend to you is I want to recommend that one of the things that you add in is meditation to your practice. And what I love to do, I'll give you kind of the process that I did with my group this past week. So what we did is we created vision boards. Everybody has heard about vision boards. I love vision boards because I think they're really fun. They're more of a passive manifestation tool. But when you use a vision board and you put it as your cell phone background, you can make it in Canva or you can put it as your computer background. And when you make that vision board, what I recommend is you make the vision board so that way every image that is on there is as if you are looking out at it. So let's say that you want to be a speaker. You're not going to put a picture of a speaker on stage. You're going to be the vantage point of the speaker and you're going to look out at that audience. And you're going to put on that vision board all of these micro moments. Like maybe you want to get engaged this next year. So you're going to have like your hand and his hand with a beautiful diamond ring, right? Something that you would see. You're going to put that on the vision board. Maybe you want to create massive wealth, right? So you're going to put your Stripe account with tons and tons of Stripe notifications or a graph going up and to the right. You want to create that vision board. And then we're going to take this, use it for our meditation and have that. You can put that somewhere where you can see it every single day. Because when you can see it every single day, what happens is then you are able to show your subconscious mind, this is familiar, this is safe. The subconscious mind will not manifest anything that doesn't feel safe. And we create safety by creating familiarity, for the better or the worse. But in this case, the better. So when we create that vision board and we put it somewhere where we can see it every day, I love making mine my phone background because it gives me all these happy feels when I look at it. We see it every single day. It's creating this passive shift in our subconscious mind. But then what I recommend closing your eyes. And if you want the miracles meditation for this, you can message me and it's inside my community. I don't sell it outside of my community, but if you want to join my community, message me and I can give you information about that. This is the process I take you through in the miracles meditation. So essentially what you're doing is first, you're connecting into your heart. You're creating heart coherence. So your heart is the strongest magnet that exists on your body. It is incredibly powerful. It can be measured feet away from your body. And so when you're sending out a coherent, smooth, harmonious signal from your heart, from higher vibrational emotions like love and joy, then what happens is you're drawing those experiences to you, right? You're a match for more love and more joy. And so when we get into our hearts and we really heal our hearts and open our hearts, we become so much more powerful manifestors. So that's the first part of the meditation. Then the second part is I want you, once you're really feeling all those good feels, the happiness, the joy, all of that sort of stuff, then what you're going to do is you're going to bring to mind one of those images from your vision board, right? It could be you speaking on the stage. It could be the nails or you cuddling with your lover or the bank account, whatever it is that gets you super happy and excited. Then you're going to have that nice image in your mind. And this is, just to give you some context, this is not the full process I take people through, but this is just to give you a little taste of it. That full process we go through within my program, but you're going to get all those feels and then you're going to see that image in your mind. And what happens from that space is you have that clear thought paired with that higher vibrational, clear emotion. And then it becomes this little powerful envelope that you're sending out into the quantum field to call it back to you. So I love that process. I recommend you do something like that for 30 days at least. That way you're really sending out this signal. And what you're going to start to see is you're going to start to see these experiences in your reality where, oh my gosh, I was visualizing myself on stage and then I just got this opportunity to speak at, X, Y, and Z. You're going to start drawing in those synchronicities because you'll be an energetic match for them. So that's one practice that I really love to do. Another practice that I like to do, and I actually do that before I do the meditation, is I like to pick basically 2 to 3 really clear intentions for the year. So intentions are different than goals. Goals can oftentimes be very, very specific. Things like, okay, I'm going to make $20,000 a month in my business or whatever your goal is, right? Or I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week. What an intention is an intention is essentially a magnet that guides energy. A really good book about this is The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer. It's a really good book where he talks about intention. Intention, when you write an intention, and what I recommend for writing intentions is you keep them a little bit more open so that way you allow the creativity of the universe to come in and impact your intention. So an intention you might write is, I am so happy. I am generating X amount of money in my business in a way that feels joyful, easeful, and peaceful. So you're pairing that thing that you want with that emotion that you desire to have, rather than scaffolding out and putting out all of the details of how it's going to happen, because the how and the when are not our responsibility. They're not up to us. Our responsibility is that intention and that clear emotion. So I like to create something like that. Or let's go back to the best shape of your life, right? Maybe it's, I am so happy that I am in the best health and shape of my life and I feel joyful and peaceful in the process. Whatever it is that you want. Because whatever it is that we want to manifest, it is really the emotion behind it that we're going for. If there was no emotion behind it, you wouldn't want it. So you want to really connect in and say, what's that emotion that I desire to create? And then call in that emotion through your meditations. So write those clear intentions. You'll pair them with those images on your vision board. Then you'll take that into your meditation, and it creates this beautiful arc of creation within your life. I love this process. I find it so fun and so powerful and so enjoyable to do. So those are a couple of the different tools that I love to share. And what I'm going to be doing on January 10th is I'm hosting a manifesting intensive that's a few hours long. It's on a Saturday morning. And what we're going to be doing is basically I'll take you through the full length of this process. So we went through like a little piece of it, and you kind of saw how all of the pieces stack, right? We're going to take you through the full process for your year of 2026. We're going to look at each area of your life and create clear intentions around those. You can get my feedback on them. And then we're going to create visuals for them. We're going to create the emotions around them. I'm going to guide you through some meditations around them. And then we will also do some rewiring to clear out any of that static in your field around those big visions. So that way there's none of that resistant energy. Because sometimes what you might find is when you try to feel the feelings around what it is that you want. Let's say you want to manifest more abundance, and you try to feel those feelings, and maybe in your meditation you can feel them, but then when you leave meditation, it's hard for you to hold that. That's because we want to do some of the clearing and shifting on that subconscious level to really clear that out. Okay, so if you're interested in joining that visioning intensive, that manifestation intensive, send me a message on Instagram that just says intensive. I will send you information about that. My Instagram is at alignment with Jenn, and I would love to have you join us. That's on January 10th. Okay, bye.